Hey guys, YouTuber 100 here. Alright, now here I am with another retro wrestling review, because I figured with the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view this Sunday, I decided that I would review a pay-per-view with one of the best Hell in a Cell matches ever. And so I decided to review No Mercy 2002. So, yeah, I was debating whether or not I just wanted to review the Hell in a Cell match itself, or like the full show. And I decided to review the full show because, yeah, this show is like looked at by quite a lot of people to be one of the best pay-per-views of 2002. And would I say it is one of the best pay-per-views of 2002? Well, that's kind of hard to say because 2002. It did have some really great pay-per-views that year. Especially with like a SummerSlam and Survivor Series, and I've reviewed some other pay-per-views from 2002 that were like really good to great as well. So, is this one of the better one or one of the best ones? I'm not sure if I can actually say it is one of the best, but yeah, it is definitely like a great show overall. Yeah, this show. This just shows like the WWE was actually like a pretty awesome at this time. Particularly with the SmackDown. Yeah, this goes back to like what I was saying back when I reviewed Unforgiven 2002. Yeah, during this time, like on the pay per views, this was like when SmackDown was really like stealing the show on the pay per views, and the Raw stuff on the pay per views were like I don't want to really say like Raw was terrible on pay-per-views at this time, but they were like pretty mediocre. Like when I reviewed Unforgiven 2002, like the Raw stuff on that show was pretty mediocre, and SmackDown really was awesome. And it's kind of pretty much the case here too, where like SmackDown is like really great on the show, and the Raw stuff, it's really like the Raw stuff really isn't anything that spectacular, but the Raw stuff I guess isn't like terrible or anything, but yeah, it's just like nothing really that memorable on Raw. Well, at least not for like very good reasons anyway. The SmackDown stuff on the show really is like real awesome. Yeah, you have like two really awesome matches on this pay-per-view, which both were from SmackDown. And yeah, I just think overall, like SmackDown on the show, they did do better than Raw overall. Yeah, especially since like they had the two really great matches on the show. But yeah, it is like a pretty great show overall, mostly due to those two matches. Uh, yeah, since you got like two really great matches, I would like definitely say it is a great show. Similar to WrestleMania 10, how WrestleMania 10, like really have said, was a really great show due to like two matches which were like really really great, and the rest of the show really was like not very good. Yeah, I really would say. Yeah, this show isn't really like that, where like besides those two matches, everything else is just crap. But yeah, it just has like two really, really great matches on the show. It really does make, I really would say that would be enough to really make it a great show. And yeah, that's really what we got here. Yeah, you did have like some decent matches on the show outside of those two awesome matches and stuff. So yeah, you did have like a couple of things that were crap on the show, or just like not very good. But yeah, overall I would say that we did get like a pretty like solid card, I guess. Some matches you could say like really were not like anything that special, but yeah, it still did have like a solid card nonetheless. And yeah, since like we do have two really great matches on the show, I would like say it is overall a great show overall. So yeah, just like based on two matches alone, I would definitely like say that this was a great show. All right, so yeah, let me just talk about the card on the show. So they kick things off pretty good. Yeah, the first match of the night, the show kicked off with the World Tag Team titles on the line. It was Chris Jericho and Christian defending against Booker T and Goldust. And I would say that this was a pretty good match right here. It's nothing like anything great, but yeah, I would say like it was a solid way to start the show off. Yeah, both of these teams, like, I really did like both of these teams back then. Yeah, Booker T and Goldust, like, they were just, like, hilarious together. They had, like, just a bunch of really great segments together. You had a thing with Booker T and Goldust in 7-Eleven, and just, like, stuff with them, like, messing with the NWO and stuff. Yeah, they were great. And I really did enjoy Chris Jericho and Christian as a team as well. I mean, you remember like when I reviewed Armageddon 2003, they were a team. So yeah, and this was like over a year before that. So yeah, Chris Jericho and Christian were actually a team for quite a while. And yeah, this was a pretty good match right here. I mean, it was like nothing that memorable about it, but yeah, it was like a solid tag team match. I mean, had some back and forth action between both the teams, and yeah, it was like solid tag team action between um the two teams, and then no, yeah, like I said, nothing that memorable about it, but it just kind of did like go back and forth. I mean, yeah, it did like kind of like have some like yeah, it did like get kind of like what should I say? It did kind of like really pick up like towards the end where uh Goldust like was trying to go for a well, no, as Chris Jericho was like talking with the referee or something, Goldust like had a Christian like hold into a corner, you know, like what Goldust does with like putting the person's legs over the top rope and then or the middle rope, whichever it was, and yeah, Goldust then like just uh kicked Christian in the groin. Yeah. Yeah, and then Goldust at one point like attempted a curtain call on Chris Jericho, but Chris Jericho avoided the move and then put Goldust in the walls of Jericho. And but yeah, Booker T ended up like breaking the hold, and then Booker T then like did a missile drop on Chris Jericho, and then like as like Booker T was like getting like really hot in the crowd. Yeah, I mean yeah. At this time, Booker T was like really like one of Raw's hottest stars. I mean, yeah, the crowd was just like, yeah, they were really hot for Booker T at the time. Yeah, and yeah, Christian like he tried to hit a Booker T with the tag tag one of the tag title belts, but Booker T avoided it, and then yeah, then yeah, Booker T then just like uh threw Christian out of the ring. And yeah, and then like as Booker T was distracted with Christian, like there was like a pretty scary moment in this match where Chris Jericho was like trying to go for a lion salt or something on Booker T, and as Chris Jericho then like was like getting ready to try to bounce off of the ropes for it, like the rope ended up like snapping, and Chris Jericho almost fell and broke his neck. So yeah, that was a scary moment for Chris Jericho. I mean, yeah, could you have imagined if like something like Chris Jericho could have like broken his neck or something? So yeah, Chris Jericho like really dodged a bullet there. He's lucky nothing happened to him there. And yeah, and then things like kind of like got a little bit jumbled because I guess like they just had to improvise after the rope snapped. So then yeah, like then just Christian and Goldust then were like getting into it, and yeah, like Goldust and Christian were like fighting through the crowd, and then or no, it was Booker T and Christian fighting through the crowd and stuff, and eventually like Chris Jericho then like just threw Goldust on one of the tag title belts, and then Chris Jericho then just like hit a like a moonsault from like the top rope onto Goldust, and then pinning Goldust, and yeah, Chris Jericho and Christian got the win. They retained the titles. So yeah, I thought he was a pretty good opener overall. I mean, nothing great, but yeah, I did get the show off to a pretty good start. So I would give it probably like 3.25. All right. And then next up after this, then we had really the only real crap from SmackDown on this show. We had Dawn Marie versus Torrie Wilson, and oh gosh, I mean, yeah, this was just like right when like that whole like Al Wilson storyline with Dawn Marie and Torrie Wilson and all that was happening, and yeah, I know how horrible that was, and yeah, it would actually go on for a few months after this. So yeah, I mean, why did they actually do this for few months? They actually had this on like our TV for like 3 months pretty much. And yeah, only really like the only good thing about this storyline was like that video that Dawn Marie like showed with her and Torrie Wilson in the hotel room at Armageddon 2002. Yeah, I mean, just like that hot videotape. Yeah, that was really like the only good thing that really did come out of this storyline. Yeah, the storyline sucked, and yeah, this match was awful and stuff. Like, I don't even want to really talk about this match. It was just like complete shit. And yeah, it just like continued to be shit through the next few months. So yeah, this match just was awful. And yeah, I'll just say Torrie Wilson got the win in this match. But yeah, this match sucked, just like the storyline. Yeah, this was awful. So yeah, dud. And then the next match on the show was Ric Flair versus Rob Van Dam. And really, this match just felt like really awkward. I mean, I saw Lundrick's review for the show, and when he talked about this match, like, he just said that felt that these two just really were not really suited for each other in a match together. Just because like RVD and Ric Flair, they really just have like totally different wrestling styles, and yeah, they just really just like yeah, these two just their styles just are not meant for each other. So yeah, the action in this match just like felt really awkward, and it just really never really did like get off flow to it. And yeah, it just really like just felt really awkward. I mean, it did have like a decent thing going into it where like RVD was like looking for revenge on Ric Flair for costing him the World Heavyweight title against Triple H at Unforgiven. So yeah, I mean, I guess I could see why they like decided to have them face each other, but just yeah, their styles just yeah, they're just really different. Like RVD is really like the more acrobatic high flyer, and Ric Flair really just like the old school wrestling style. So yeah, these two styles just really don't mix together in a wrestling match. So yeah, it was just like really awkward action, and yeah, it really didn't last too long either. I mean, this match was only like 8 minutes long, and yeah, it just like felt real awkward. I mean, especially like when Ric Flair went on offense, or just when either of these guys went on offense, just their moves just like didn't really seem to really like be the right choices, and like the way each guy sold the moves, it just like looked like they really like weren't used to each other's styles. So yeah, it just like felt like yeah, it was just a really awkward match. And yeah, and I felt like the ending was like kind of awkward too, but I'll talk about the ending in just a second. But yeah, it just had like like when Ric Flair would like use some of his dirty tactics on RVD, they just like didn't look really like clunky and stuff. Like Ric Flair like attempted like the thumb to the eye and stuff, but it just like RVD's selling of it just like looked real choppy and just clunky, and yeah, it just like really didn't go well together. So yeah, this match just like was really awkward, and just these guys just like I've said, their styles just yeah, just because of how different they are, I really just don't think that these guys are really meant to face each other. And yeah, and then I'll just like cut to the chase where like Ric Flair ended up like surviving a rolling thunder, and then like RVD like hit Ric Flair with one of his spinning kicks, and then hit the 5-star frog splash, and yeah, then RVD got the win. So yeah, it just was a really awkward match with awkward action, and just yeah, these guys just really are not meant to be facing each other with their different styles. So yeah, just a real awkward match there. So yeah, I would give it like 2 stars. And then after this is like something that I want to talk about, because yeah, this is like something that I'm gonna touch up on later on in this video. Yeah, after this match, then we had a little segment in the backstage area where it showed Big Show was talking to Stephanie McMahon. Yeah, Big Show was like on Raw at the time, and yeah, since Stephanie was the SmackDown General Manager, like there was this thing where Big Show was talking to Stephanie, and then Eric Bischoff then came and saw Big Show talking to Stephanie, and yeah, Big Show was just saying that how pissed off he was because yeah, for like the last 3 months prior to this, like Big Show just pretty much like wasn't doing anything. Like he wasn't on pay-per-views, wasn't in main events. Yeah, Big Show was just like so fed up that basically, like ever since Eric Bischoff had become the general manager of Raw, Big Show basically was just like going around with his thumb up his ass. And then yeah, Big Show just got so mad that he was just like threatening that if Eric Bischoff didn't put him in the main event spot soon, that Big Show would just like end up breaking Eric Bischoff's neck. So yeah, the reason that I brought this up is, like I said, there's like something else that for a match on the show that I am going to talk a little bit about later on, which is kind of like a similar thing that has to do with what happened here. But yeah, I'm going to get to that later. But anyway, Then the next match of the night was for the Cruiserweight Championship. It was Jamie Noble defending against Tajiri. And, yeah, I thought that, yeah, this was just fine. I mean, yeah, this was just a nice little filler match right here. I mean, yeah, the cruiserweights, of course, like the cruiserweights really didn't disappoint at this time, and yeah, this was just a decent little match right here. I mean, nothing too memorable about it, and yeah, it only didn't last too long. It was only about like 8 minutes, but yeah, it was solid cruiserweight action between Tajiri and Jamie Noble. Well, and yeah, Jamie Noble like was dominating early on in the match, and then yeah, Tajiri eventually was making a comeback, and yeah, it just like went into back and forth action and stuff, and then eventually like Tajiri ended up like applying a tarantula on Jamie Noble, and then like ended up missing a buzzsaw kick, but then Jamie Noble's face ended up getting slammed into the turnbuckle, and then Jamie Noble hit a buzzsaw kick, and it looked like Tajiri had the win, but then Nydia like distracted the referee and actually ended up like kissing the referee, preventing Tajiri from winning. And then yeah, like then about like a minute after that, then with the help of Nydia, Jamie Noble ended up like a roll, getting a victory roll on Tajiri, and yeah, Jamie Noble ended up retaining the title. So yeah, a decent little match right there. I mean, yeah, I guess it served its job as like a little buffer match between like the RVD Ric Flair match and the next match. So yeah, I guess it served its purpose. So yeah, I give this match like 3 stars. And then here's the one of the big matches of the night. Here's one that I'm gonna have a lot to say about. Next up, we had the champion versus champion winner take all match. It was the World Heavyweight Champion Triple H versus the Intercontinental Champion Kane. And yeah, everyone knows like what this match was like. This was like a match unifying the World Heavyweight title and the Intercontinental title, with the Intercontinental title being retired forever. Yeah, I'm going to talk about that in a second, but yeah, of course, like what everybody knows from this match is the storyline with the Katie. This was the match like surrounding the Katie Vick storyline. But yeah, I've already talked about the Katie Vick storyline before. Yeah, I've like given my consensus on it. How I really don't think it is like as bad as people say it is. Like people regard it as one of the worst storylines of all time in WWE history. But yeah, I really don't really think it is that bad. I mean, it was stupid. Don't get me wrong. Like, especially like some of the segments that we got from it with like a Triple H like posing as Kane, like having sex with the blow up doll, and like Triple H talking with the Katie Vick corpse. Yeah, this was just like. Yeah, this was a dumb storyline and all, but I really don't think it is like one of the worst WWE storylines ever. Like, there has been like a lot of worse storylines than this. So yeah, but yeah, this match, oh gosh, this match was just like overbooked as hell. I mean, really, I mean, first of all, like this match really just like it was not very interesting. Yeah, it just like really never got going. I mean, it just seemed like really, really slow paced, and it just really didn't like seem to really like ever get going and stuff. Like it really wasn't not like that. Never really did get very interesting. Like it was a pretty slow and just yeah, it just really never picked up. Yeah, and and yeah, we just like had like some run-ins and just like some ref bumps and weapon use. Yeah, it just like got really overbooked. Like you had like a run-in from Ric Flair when Kane had the upper hand at one point, and like Ric Flair was like trying, of course, to help Triple H, and then eventually like Ric Flair ended, well, not Ric Flair, then the Hurricane ended up coming out and was like trying to get rid of Ric Flair, and then yeah, Triple H then just like pedigreed the Hurricane on the floor, and yeah, Hurricane then just ended up getting laid out, and then Ric Flair then just like continued to try to help Triple H. And then like you had like stuff like going on the outside of the ring with Kane Triple H battling, and then Kane ended up like chokeslamming Triple H through one of the announce tables. Yeah, yeah, and then eventually like Ric Flair and Triple H were like trying to get a sledgehammer and trying to hit Kane with that, but then like Kane ended up like snatching the sledgehammer away and nailing Ric Flair with it. Yeah, then eventually like Triple H then just ended up like low blowing Kane, but then eventually then Triple H then like was trying to use the sledgehammer more on Kane, and then Kane then just ended up chokeslamming Triple H. But yeah, the referee was like out, so Kane didn't get the pin. And then another referee came out, and then like just Ric Flair then just pulled the other referee out and just took out the second referee. Yeah. And then Ric Flair then was like then just like tried to go to the top rope to distract Kane, but then Kane then chokeslammed Ric Flair, and then after that, then Triple H then just then like hit a pedigree on Kane, and then got the pin. So Triple H was the winner take all. And this match, this is another example of just like Triple H just burying all the other talent, and really just like another pure example of why people hated his reign of terror because of that. Just burying other stars when the other stars should have gone over, including here. Like this was like during the Katie Vick storyline, like I was saying before, and just on the previous Raw, we had stuff with like Triple H accusing Kane of murder on Katie Vick, and with like just drinking and necrophilia and all that other stuff. I mean, wouldn't you say that? Just think that Kane would have gotten revenge for everything Triple H was like accusing him of here, and like Kane getting revenge and going over? But instead, like, we just get another one of Triple H's burials. Seriously, this just made Kane look absolutely terrible. And then, after this, of course, like I was saying, the Intercontinental title was unified with the World Heavyweight title. And, this was, like, ended up retiring the Intercontinental title. Of course, like, until it was brought back at Judgment Day 2003. And, really, I mean, people really, like, a lot of people really just, like, go off about this decision of like dissolving the Intercontinental title during this time. I mean, I saw like what Lundrick has said about it. Like he's just saying that this was a brain dead decision. I've seen other people just bashing this decision also. But come on, people, you got to remember them like doing that for the Intercontinental title. It was just a way to write it off TV for the time. Because remember, this was during this time, like they were still using the WWF for logoed Intercontinental Championship belt, despite the fact that it had changed names to WWE. So this was just a way for them to write it off of television until the WWE logoed version of the belt was made. So people just need to really just remember that about it and not be so hard on the WWE for just like a retiring the Intercontinental title here, because it was just a way to write it off TV for the time. So people really need to get off of that case and not be so hard on it. So and like I said, just this match just really was not very good. It just really never got going. And another one of Triple H's burials. So so I would just give this match like a 2.5 stars. So And then next up, we get the first of the two really awesome matches of this pay-per-view. Next up, we had the tournament final to crown the inaugural WWE Tag Team Champions for SmackDown. This was like when the tag team title belts for SmackDown were made, and this was where they would crown the first champions. We got the tournament final here. It was Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit versus Edge and Rey Mysterio. And this was just an absolutely awesome match right here. I mean, there were a couple of things that I didn't like about it, but I'll get to those in just a second. But this was just such an awesome match, and this was just like, this just shows like how awesome SmackDown was at this time. Like, this was during the SmackDown 6 period, and those days were just like so great. I mean, you had these four, you had Eddie Guerrero, there was you had like Undertaker, Brock Lesnar. You just had like all like the talent on SmackDown, like SmackDown 6 as they were referred to, and this was just like such a great time. And SmackDown 6 were just awesome. And yeah, this match just shows it. This was such an awesome match. I mean, it did start off just like kind of like just a regular tag match. I mean, you did have just like solid tag team action, but then yeah, at points then like it just like picked up. You had just like it was just like filled with so much excitement here. You had like Chris Benoit like going for a diving headbutt on Edge, but Edge ended up like avoiding it, and then like Rey Mysterio then was just like using his quick speed, and Kurt Angle ended up like being knocked off the ring apron, and then Benoit just ended up like being drop kicked in the face, and we had like a drop into dime on Chris Benoit, and yeah, you just had like a bunch of counters in the match, and just like some double teams. Just, yeah, you just like were filled with just so much excitement in this match. Like at one point, like Chris Benoit had Rey Mysterio in the crossface, but Rey Mysterio like ended up just slamming Chris Benoit into the middle rope, and well, no, it was Edge in the crossface, and then Rey Mysterio then hit a 619 on Chris Benoit to break up the crossface. And, yeah, and then at one point, like Edge ended up like attacking Chris Benoit in the corner, and then Rey Mysterio then like Edge threw Rey Mysterio like right into Chris Benoit, and Rey Mysterio then like just hit a Bronco Buster on Chris Benoit. And then at one point, as Kurt Angle was like on the top turnbuckle, Rey Mysterio like hit an Hurricane Rana on Kurt Angle, and at one point, like as Chris Benoit like had Edge in a crossface, and like Rey Mysterio ended up like knocking Chris Benoit down to the outside of the ring, and then Rey Mysterio then just like ended up going down, and just like ended up like flying to the outside of the ring to Chris Benoit. And yeah, you just had like so much excitement in this match. Like you just had like all these like spots where you just had like move after move after move going on, and yeah, you were just like filled with so much excitement watching this match. And yeah, it just was like some great in-ring action between the two teams. I just really like. Lundrick has said like he thinks that this is like quite possibly like the best straight up tag team match of all time. I'm not really sure if I can say that, because I mean there have been like a lot of tag team matches. So yeah, I'm talking. And of course, like haven't really seen like every single one in wrestling history, so it's hard to say whether this is actually the best straight up tag match of all time. But yeah, it's still like a really, really great match. And yeah, and then like I do like the end of this match where like Kurt Angle like applied an ankle lock on Edge, and Edge ended up then countering it, and had the Kurt Angle in an ankle lock, but then like Kurt Angle ended up like countering the ankle lock again, and got the ankle lock back on Edge. And then Edge eventually ended up tapping out. And so yeah, Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit ended up getting the win, and they became the first ever tag team champions. Oh man. And this was something I didn't like about it. I mean, Chris Benoit and Kurt Angle winning. I really didn't like that for a couple of reasons. I just felt that, for one thing, it was the wrong move. Because, I remember at this time, Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit were actually enemies. I mean, remember the previous month in Unforgiven, they had the match with each other? So yeah, and they like still like were enemies at the time, so I really like wasn't a fan of this. I wasn't a fan of them actually like being forced to team up in this tournament. Yeah, Stephanie was like telling Chris Benoit and Kurt Angle that if they did not get along and like they let their animosity get in the way, she would suspend them both for a year without pay. And I just really was not a fan of how they handled this. I mean, I just felt that there was like some other ways that they could have like handled this to make it like make more sense. And I just really didn't like how they handled it. I mean, yeah, this was like what I was talking about earlier with that segment with the Big Show. I mean, I really just felt, because yeah, this was just like right after that a free agency period had ended, where like a Raw superstar could end up like jumping to SmackDown or vice versa. Yeah, this was just like just about a month after that had ended, and I just felt that just think that they could have like had that go on for a little bit longer and have like Chris Benoit had like jumped to SmackDown during that free agency period. So I think that this couldn't they have had like something like Kurt Angle threatening to jump to Raw for something like this once Stephanie made that threat to suspend them both. Yeah, because yeah, like I was talking about earlier with the Big Show. I mean, with the Big Show like getting pissed off at Eric Bischoff because the night after this, like because of how the Big Show acted to Eric Bischoff ended up trading Big Show to SmackDown on the night after, and I just felt that like if Big Show was so pissed off, it would have made sense like when he was talking to Stephanie earlier on here, if he would have just like ended up like leaving Raw and jumping to SmackDown instead of being traded. Yeah, and I just felt that they could have like handled this differently. So yeah, and I just felt that it was the wrong move since that they were enemies at the time. I really would rather think that Edge and Rey Mysterio should have been the winners of this match, and they should have become the first tag team champions. But yeah, it is what it is, I guess. It was still like a really, really awesome match. I would give this probably 4.5 stars as well. Well, not as well, but yeah, 4.5 stars. This was just a really, really awesome match with some awesome spots. Definitely check this match out if you haven't seen it before. It is just a freaking awesome match. And then next up was just the women's championship match. We had Trish Stratus defending against Victoria, and this was just fine. This was just used as once again another buffer match between the tag title match and the main event. Yeah, this was just fine. I mean, yeah, this was actually a pretty decent women's feud, and yeah, it was just a solid little match. Yeah, it was a solid little women's match, and yeah, some solid diva action, and yeah, Trish Stratus ended up getting the win. So yeah, I would give it like 2.5 stars. And then we got the main event, which was the Hell in a Cell match for the WWE Championship. Brock Lesnar defending against The Undertaker. And wow, what a Hell in a Cell match this was. I mean, yeah, these are like the Hell in a Cell matches that people really did love to see. I mean, these aren't the Hell in a Cell matches that you get now. These are like the Hell in a Cell matches where you just get like bloody, brutal matches. And this match just shows it. This was just such an awesome match right here. I mean, yeah, you had Undertaker wrestling in this match with a cast on his hand because Brock Lesnar had broken it a few weeks prior. And yeah, just like this was just such a this was just such a heated rivalry. I mean, you remember me talking about it back when I reviewed Unforgiven 2002, and it continued here. Just a brutal match right here. I mean, yeah, of course, like Undertaker, like I said, he was wrestling this match with a cast on his hand, and so yeah, Undertaker was using the cast as a weapon. Yeah, this is just like was such a brutal match. I mean, you had weapon use in this match. I mean, it was bloody. I mean, you had Brock Lesnar bleeding. You had Undertaker bleeding, and even Paul Heyman bleeding in the match. Yeah, and plus, yeah, this was like a different take for the Hell in a Cell matches. This wasn't like the Hell in a Cell matches that you saw previously, where like the guys would like eventually end up like fighting outside of the cell and going to the top of it and continuing to battle each other. Yeah, and this was like in this Hell in a Cell match, you actually like didn't ever get them like breaking out of the cell and like fighting on the outside. This match actually like stayed in the cell for the whole thing. So yeah, and yeah, like I said, just such a freaking brutal match right here. I mean, yeah, like Undertaker like used the cast on Brock Lesnar, of course, in the match a lot, and yeah, Brock Lesnar ended up like getting busted open and stuff, and yeah, you had like a lot of use of the cell in the match. Undertaker was like just throwing Brock Lesnar into the cell a bunch of times like a rag doll. Yeah, and then at one point, as a Paul Heyman was like trying to like get really close to the cell to like try to like get at Undertaker. Then Undertaker then just like kicked right through the cell into Paul Heyman, and then yeah, Paul Heyman then ended up like was bleeding, and then yeah, Undertaker then was just like pulling Paul Heyman into the cell even more, into the cell wall by pulling him by his tie. Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, just like some really brutal stuff. And then, yeah, Brock Lesnar then, like, at one point, like, with some help from Paul Heyman, then Brock Lesnar then was just targeting Undertaker's broken hand. And then, yeah, Brock Lesnar then was just, like, trying to rip off Undertaker's cast throughout the match, and he eventually did. Yeah, and then, yeah, Brock Lesnar, of course, then was just, like, targeting Undertaker's broken hand in this match. Yeah, and, yeah, then at one point you had a Brock Lesnar just, like, throwing the steel steps like right into Undertaker's face, and then just from like even it was just a huge shot with the stairs, and just like after one blow, Undertaker's face was like completely covered in blood. It was just so brutal. And then eventually, like, at one point in this match, like, Brock Lesnar was, like, holding on to the bars at the ceiling of the cell, and was just, like, swinging his kicks right into Undertaker's face. So, and then, at one point, like, Lesnar gave a DDT to Undertaker, and then at one point, Undertaker then, like, was trying to go for a suicide dive on Brock Lesnar, but Lesnar, avoiding an Undertaker, then just like ended up going right into the cell wall. Oh yeah, they like tried to play it off as like Undertaker actually did go for Lesnar, but if you watch it, you can actually see like Undertaker did miss Brock Lesnar and went right into the cell wall. And then it was just like some brutal action. Like Brock Lesnar hit a monstrous spinebuster on Undertaker, and then Brock Lesnar ended up like countering the old school from Undertaker, and then at one point Undertaker like ended up countering the F5 into a choke slam for a near fall. And then Brock Lesnar like tried to like mock the last ride, but Undertaker ended up countering it with a back body drop, and then it looked like Undertaker had the match won at one point, where Undertaker then like hit a huge last ride on Brock Lesnar, but then as Undertaker was going for the pin, Brock Lesnar like ended up like grabbing the rope, and then it was a pretty like awesome ending for the match, where like Undertaker was gonna go for the tombstone on Brock Lesnar, but Brock Lesnar ended up reversing the tombstone and then just like put Undertaker in the F5, and then Brock Lesnar hit the F5 on Undertaker and pinned him, and so Brock Lesnar ended up getting the win. So what a awesome match, and another like big win for Brock Lesnar. I mean, this was still like when Brock Lesnar was still undefeated, and just a victory over another legend. I mean, Brock Lesnar had the victories over Hulk Hogan, The Rock, and then here with The Undertaker. So this was still when the WWE was still like making Brock Lesnar just look like a total unstoppable beast. And then we would be in for quite a surprise the next month to see how Brock Lesnar would finally get beaten. So this was just like such an awesome match right here. I would definitely say this is in the top 5 of the best Hell in a Cell matches ever. Back in 2012, I made the video ranking Hell in a Cell matches, and I did have this in the top 5, and I still say it does still belong in top 5. Just a really, really awesome match. So I would give that 4.5 stars as well. This is just a really, really awesome Hell in a Cell match. So overall the show, I give it probably like an 8 out of 10. I mean, the 2 awesome matches, but the tag title match, the WWE tag title match, and the Hell in a Cell match. So 2 awesome matches. I would definitely recommend the show overall. Alright, so that does for my review of No Mercy 2002. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. This was kind of a long review. It was almost 40 minutes, but just because of the stuff that I wanted to talk about, I just like this. I guess I just really like needed to make this a little bit longer review. So I hope you guys did tune in and then stick around for the whole thing. I hope you guys enjoyed this review, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.